you can see the cute is starting to take shape. I decided to do some things off the clock, you should say. You could say. I do say. I don't know. We've got Kenda Slant 6 tires. I threw them on to see if they fit. They most definitely do. Wonderful tread. Well, I've got to do voiceovers. The audio is completely ruined. I forgot to either turn on the microphone or have the jack in my phone plugged in all the way. I don't know. But yeah, I did some stuff off camera. I put on tires and test fit these bars with a random stem. Threw on a seat post and a saddle to see like how much seat post I'd have sticking out theoretically. Right now it's in the slammed position. But yeah, it was just to like kind of get ready for what's coming. Another company wanted to support the channel, and it's kind of the best of the best. It's Thomson. They sent me a bunch of really rad shit to put on this bike, and I could not be more grateful because I could not believe a company like this would want to support what I do. I got some lizard skins Thomson machine grips, the BMX Thomson X 6-bolt stem, a silver seat post to match the headset I put on there, and a Thomson Elite dropper with lever, which is rad. I was rambling about something here, probably being stoked about Thomson and how cool Cute is and how they're like two different companies with different ideas of how to do bike stuff, but they come together to make this like really cool combination of a product. I don't know. Whatever. And then I test fit the dropper because I was worried about I ordered the wrong size. I didn't. I actually got everything right. I put the seat post clamp on there and the dropper. Everything fit. I was stoked. It looks so good, let me tell you. You'll see that later in the video. But there is a little bottom, like there's a couple different types of adapters that you put on the bottom for the Thomson droppers. This one is like the cable actuated head. And then I thought for a second that I had to torque it down. And then I realized I don't have to do that. So I'm just looking for a tool that I don't need right now, which is stupid. But I put that little head on there, and then I used a little Allen key to actuate it. And let me tell you, that is the smoothest dropper I have ever felt. I've been mountain biking for a long time. I've had a lot of droppers. That Thomson has no play in it. It is incredible. So I'm popping off the wheel and measuring the bars. Currently, they are 840 wide, which is incredibly wide. That's like beach cruiser wide. I don't need them that wide. I'm going to try to do some tricks on this bike. It's supposed to be a fun, jibby machine. Bars that wide kind of get in the way. So I talked about that and how much I wanted to cut off and whatever else I was rambling on about, because I'm always rambling. You know me. But yeah, I'm popping the bar and stem off. This is a weird video that I don't have like the actual audio of things happening. I feel like it kind of takes away from some of the build, but you know, it is what it is. But I was talking here about how it's 22.2 stem and 22.2 bars, so I don't need an adapter and it looks really clean. And then I'm going to pop on the star nut with an actual star nut setter tool, put it completely off the screen, but you want to listen for a really, really loud, like metallic hammering sound. That's how you know it bottoms out. This one is the Pedro's tool. Works great. They're not very expensive. If you put more than like 2 star nuts in a year, maybe get one of these. But also most shops will put them in for like $5 or something. So, yeah. So I'm popping the fork in, and I'm putting on the most amount of spacers I've ever seen on a bicycle. And I looked at it and I'm like, I can't live with myself with that many spacers. Yeah, I'd raise the bars a lot, but I just can't do it. So I decided to do five spacers, which is still a lot, the most I've ever had on a bike. But yeah, I'm going to score above the stem with a sharp object, in this case, a knife. I'm going to cut like a score mark, and then you want to cut the steer tube slightly below that. It's normally 2 to 5 mil, depending on who you ask. I think I only do like 2. But if you have your headset tight and everything seated together, it shouldn't be that big of a deal. And I used a pipe cutter. Again, stole that from the shop. I don't own one of these personally. Still needing badly to outfit my home workshop, but comes right off. And then obviously I cut the star nut off, which with a little bit of foresight probably could have avoided that, but shaved the steer tube with a file so that everything is nice and flush and clean again. This is an important step, otherwise your spacers and your stem won't go on well, and then your star nut will have like a lip to go over, and sometimes you can overbend your star nut doing that, and it won't have like a tight grip in the steer tube. But for the most part, you can reuse a star nut. So I'm going to smash it out of the little cutoff piece with the setter tool. I hope Skylar never watches this video because I'm just abusing our shop tools. Shouldn't be a big deal, but still feel bad. Pop that out, hammered it on the ground. Still working on building a workbench downstairs, but for now the concrete floor works great for hammering, doesn't move. Set in the new star nut, same thing, easy. Popped it back in the frame and put the spacers on, and then the stem, and there we are. It's on. It's beautiful. It's sexy, simple, easy enough. Could have done that the first time, cut 3 times, measure once, I always say. I guess I only cut once, but you know what I mean. And then this stem is 6-bolt, which you can't see here because I also decided to film this backlit, which was a terrible idea. It was just a part of the day that I was free, and I was like, I'm going to film a video, and the shop's busy, so I'm going to do it at home. Terrible idea. Shouldn't have done that. But I do the 4 bolts tightened first, and then the middle 2, and then kind of even everything out. And now I'm talking about how wide the bars are again, and how, I got to cut them down. So I took 2 inches off. I didn't have a metric tape measure, if you believe that. I have one somewhere. I just didn't feel like getting it. So I cut 2 inches on either side of the bar with the same pipe cutter. You can get these also very cheap. This is like a Harbor Freight one that's been at the shop for like 10 years. Cutting disc is unbelievably dull. Took forever. Use it for everything. They're great. File the edges down so your grips and your controls, like your brakes and shifter and whatnot, don't get hung up on the end. Had to take a sip of beer. You know what it is. Shout out Fat Tire. And then if you take a look, both of my ends are the exact same size, which I was pretty stoked about. So that means I cut the perfect amount off, or an equal amount at least. Then I put the grips on, and so I could like size up the dropper lever where I wanted it, like its final resting position, so that I can measure up the cable to it. And I'm talking about something or another. I don't know what. But I'm going to put the wheel back on so I can set the bike on the ground, and then try to explain how to pick a saddle height after doing a couple of terrible pull-up bars. Whatever. Got the bars centered, and then I'm going to straighten them kind of to what I think the riding position is going to be. They're a little bit angled back. I wanted them a little bit more forward, gives it that BMX look. On a BMX bike, I generally don't do the bars in the same plane as the fork. They're just a little bit rolled forward. But that's up to you, And then, so I measure by taking my armpit and stretching out my hand, and the middle finger should reach the center of the bottom bracket, which makes a lot of sense to me. I don't know who taught that to me. but it works. And then toss this anvil saddle, on the seat post. It looks good. They're not the most comfortable saddles. I just had one kicking around from my transition. But here you can see, well, you can't see because it's off screen because I don't know how to frame a shot, but my middle finger goes like directly into the center of the bottom bracket and my armpit's resting comfortably on the saddle. That's how I generally get my saddle height set. So now I'm going to explain some other stuff, but basically you get your cable as tight as you want it, and then you measure the amount that's sticking out of your dropper post, and then you measure the amount that's inserted into the frame off of that. So it was 8.5 inches in the frame. And then you feed your dropper housing through the frame all the way up to be flush with your clamp. And then you make the cable perfect on the lever side. And then you cut off 8.5 inches because that's how much my dropper was sitting inside the frame. And then when I put my dropper in, also don't forget grease. Shout out Finish Line. This grease is awesome. It's their ceramic grease. Do not need to put it on seat posts, but it's so buttery smooth. I use it on everything now. But you stick your housing through, and then when you pull the dropper down, your housing is now the exact length that you want it. I'm a little OCD about my cable housing, so this is a step that I didn't want to skip, and I thought that I should explain it. I explained it way better in the original video. The original video was going to be like an hour long, and I had to cut all the parts where I was talking out of it, which was kind of annoying for me. I've been editing this video all day. I'm losing my mind. It doesn't matter. I'm a great content creator, but dropper's routed, feels amazing. Forgot to get zip ties, so I had to reuse zip ties from other stuff. If you don't know how to do that, you just cut it at the head towards the zippy side, not the non-zippy side, if you know what I mean. Pull out the little tail, and now you've got a zip tie that you can reuse. So I found 2 zip ties in my house that I could steal. So I put those on the bike and kind of got the cable tucked up. And that was kind of all I did today. Drank beer and looked at it, and then I realized that I wanted to put the derailleur on. So then I had a SRAM Rival kicking around. It was a strong spring. It's a 10-speed. I think I have a flat bar shifter somewhere for it. So I'm going to try that for now. I also have a compatible cassette, so I'm stoked about that. And then it was around this time where I was like, hey, let's go look at the bike. And then, so I just had the realization that my microphone wasn't on this entire time. That's pretty cool. Good job. Good job, Max. So yeah, I realized my mic wasn't on eventually. But yeah, I just wanted to go outside and stare at the bike. And I think it looks so cool. I'm really excited to show off the cranks that I got for this. It's going to complement everything really well. The Rival looks good on there. Those Kendas look good on there. This Thomson stuff just makes the bike pop. Are you kidding me? Look at that stem. It's just the most beautiful stem you've ever seen in your life. This is like the creme de la creme, gold standard bike components, made in the USA too. If I didn't already say that, that is sweet. The silver stuff, the little silver accents that are lined up horizontally, across the bike, I think look really good. It's the little stuff that makes a bike for me. I just could not be more stoked with how this is going. Really can't believe I left the microphone off. Rookie mistakes. All right, so sorry if that video was absolute shite. Probably didn't do the Thomson parts justice, nor this beautiful, cute frame. I don't know what happened. Decided to film a video backlit and not turn my microphone on. Genius. If the audio is terrible, sorry in advance. Or it's the opposite of advance. I don't know. But pretty stoked with how this bike's coming along. I think these Thomson parts really complement the all black aesthetic. The, just the silver, black, little silver touch works. This Rival looks really good on there. It should have plenty of springing power. Very excited to show you the cranks that I have picked out for this. Yeah, huge thank you to Thomson. This would not be as cool without these parts. Blows my mind that companies like this want to support what I do and let me show off their stuff for them. Just a mechanic, you know. So yeah, once again, if you like this bike, if you're interested in one of these, the link to Cute's stuff is in the description. If you're interested in Thomson stuff, which obviously everybody already is, their link is also in the description. Huge shout out to both of them for making this happen. Go support the people who support me if you like my content. If I didn't already mention it, I'm not getting paid for any of this. No one paid me money to use their products. I reached out. I like what they do, so I support it. Yeah, I'll see you next week with hopefully a video with audio. Can't believe I did that.